In France, the far-right leader Marine Le Pen is battling for her political survival. She is back in court today on day one of her appeals trial for a graft conviction. Now, she needs that verdict overturned if she wants to run in next year's presidential election. Our Olivia Bizot is at that courthouse where the appeals trial is kicking off a little bit later today. Olivia, what is this case all about?
Hi, Jeannie. Yes, well, this case, known as the European Parliament Assistance Affair, involves allegations of a massive system of embezzlement of EU funds. Between 2004 and 2016, Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally Party has been accused of using European Parliament money to solve its own financial issues. Now, the EU gives each member of the European Parliament a monthly allowance to pay for assistance, and prosecutors argue that that money was instead used to pay for staff that were using the money to work on domestic French issues as opposed to using it to work on Brussels ones. Now, this included high-profile individuals, including Marine Le Pen's security guard and her head of staff, for example. In March 2025, 25 individuals, including the party, were found guilty, and Marine Le Pen was found guilty of being at the heart of this system since 2009. She was sentenced to 4 years in prison, 2 years of which were suspended and 2 years of which could be served under house arrest with an electronic ankle bracelet. She was also fined €100,000 and, crucially, she was banned from running for public office for 5 years. Now, at this court today, Marine Le Pen and 11 others are here to try and overturn that sentence. The trial is scheduled to last for the next month, and the verdict is expected by the summer of 2026.
So, Olivia, let's look forward a bit. What are the possible scenarios here, either if that conviction is overturned or not overturned?
Well, this really is a fight for political survival for Marine Le Pen. There are three main scenarios that are possible. The first scenario is the most unlikely, and it's also the most optimistic for Marine Le Pen, and that scenario is that she's actually found innocent, which means that her ban for running for public office and her prison sentence are scrapped, and this would mean that she could run in the presidential elections and use this whole ordeal as a sort of narrative that says that the establishment were trying to fight against her so that she couldn't run. The second scenario is that she's still found guilty, but her punishment is changed, which means that she could potentially still run for office. Now, that could mean that, for example, her ban for running in presidential office is reduced from 5 years to 1 year, which would mean that she could still make it in time for the 2027 presidential elections, or that the immediacy element clause of the ban is removed, which would mean that she could then bring this case to the highest court for appeal. And during the time it takes for the judges to deliberate on that appeal, she could run for president. So that's scenario number two. And then the third scenario is that she's still found guilty and that the prison sentence could actually be worsened. In that case, she would not be able to run for president, and the party would instead be using the president of the party, Jordan Bardella, as its candidate for the 2027 elections.